Redline Logbook here for Chapter 6 of Wistoria, and we now begin with the tournament. Literally the beginning, where the principal is giving the commensal speech at the beginning to get everyone ready for the games, and she basically repeats the words of one of their founding witches, Mercedes. We heard this speech before about honing one's skills and such. Will is just sitting with all the lockers waiting for his turn to go, because at the moment, a bunch of other games are going first, like the Dragon Race, which was easily won by Liana, that human girl who uses lightning magic with the highest score in their class. We also get to see the head scout for the fire faction, Lodge, but obviously he's not the only one there. In fact, it's not just people from the tower who are currently trying to look for suitable recruits. Apparently there are people from all over the world there just for recruitment. We're giving glimpses of men, women in stands in fancy suits and such, basically studying all of the competitors. So this is a big deal. This isn't just about the tower. This is about your future in magic, basically, if you can get the right recruiter to scout you out. Iris is currently with the principal in her private booth. They're talking about the recruitment and how important this is. But of course, Iris wears her disguise, puts up the ponytails, puts on the glasses, and heads on out to do her job because she also is supposed to be collecting candidates. And of course, specifically looking to get Will. So Theon is also going to compete in the games. He's going to compete in a game known as the Crown Game. Now, the reason why he's going to compete in this is because he was asked by Clanette to join her team. And he's like, finally, Clanette realizes that I'm better than that worthless loser, Will. Now, I didn't realize this, but when I went back and read Chapter 1, I realized, Theon likes Clanette. I can't believe I didn't realize it the first time. That's why he backed down when she called him out, because he didn't want to upset her. And so when she asked him to join their team, he immediately said yes, not realizing that Will, of course, was on that team. So to compete in the Crown Game, you have to have a total of 3 members, and their points must equal 2100 at least. Obviously, because Will's score is so low, they needed Theon. He's the only one with a high enough score. So as you can imagine, Theon now feels kind of used and pissed off because he realized he's not actually gained more of Clanette's favor. In fact, she's now using him to help Will, the guy that he's jealous of. Of course, Theon starts to insult Will, but that's when Julius walks in, and Will and him glare at each other, and this pisses off Theon even more. He feels like that Will, since he was able to defeat a monster that he couldn't, Will now doesn't see him as a respectable person that he can care about. Now he can just look past him like he doesn't even matter. Obviously, Will does not feel that way. Will looking directly at Julius and wanting to crush him has nothing to do with Theon at all, but once again, Theon is, 1, a little bit egotistical, but 2, suffering from massive humiliation by the simple fact that he was saved by someone he constantly looked down upon. So yeah, we're going down the route that Theon might actually become Will's friend. Pretty cool. Unless this jealousy continues to eat away at him, then he could become a villain, but so far, Theon is going to be Will's friend. Not at the moment, of course. He still treats Will like shit, but we're getting there. So the Crown Game is about to begin, and we actually get an announcer for everyone, and he's Mike Myers, not joking, and he looks like Sung Jin Won, the monkey god. Also not joking about that. And apparently they decided to have Professor Edwards join him in the commentary. And for some reason, he introduces Professor Edwards by just insulting him constantly. And as you can imagine, Edwards' only response is, "So, next time you come to class, bring a coffin." And of course, Mike Myers begins to apologize for everything he just said and begs him not to kill him. Why the fuck would you say that in the first place? He's literally right there. So the way the Crown Game works is they have to create a field. So a bunch of Fey Saints, this is a group of elven women who are part of that elven faction, combine their magic and create a game field where it's cut into multiple sections surrounding a center point. And each area is different, there being a volcanic zone, a desert zone, a marsh zone, a deep forest zone, and a grassland zone. Each more treacherous than the last, obviously, which makes sense why participants had to have a score equal of 21,000, because if your score is too low, it means you're probably not good enough to survive here. Like I said, all these zones are like a giant ring surrounding the center where there's a crown. Each team has their own entry point where they go in. They have to deal with all kinds of stuff, not just the environments, but traps and such. And they have to basically fight their way to the center and get the crown. First team to get the crown wins. Professor Edward does what any teacher should do. He explains why this game is set up the way it is. It's a 3-man cell, which is a standard military unit for magic use when crawling a dungeon or other such things. And he's basically getting very technical and explaining the importance of this game and how it works in the real world. But of course, Mike Myers doesn't give 2 shits about that, interrupts him, and then gets all excited about how he gets to see people fight each other, because that's all that he cares about. Yeah, Professor Edward did not like being interrupted. Mike Myers then declares that there's a underground gambling tournament going on, which it's no longer underground now that you announced it to the entire audience. But once again, this guy just seems to be an idiot. But more importantly, there are two odds-on favorites. That's Yagin's team and, of course, Julius's team. And the team with the lowest odds, who no one expects to win, would be the team with Will. Professor Walkins is in the room with the crown participants, and he's basically telling them all to get ready. They're about to begin when he sees Will, and he freaks out, and he basically tries to convince Will to just stop this, to not be a part of this. He's going to get himself hurt or even killed. But Will says, no, I'm going along. I'm going to do this. And of course, Professor Walkins says, okay, fine, do what you want. But don't come crying to me when things end the way they do. The crown game begins, and the first obstacle is actually a trap set up by the teachers, which is a wall of golems surrounding literally every entrance. You have to smash through the golems, no matter where you entered from. Will, of course, rushes forward to kill the golems, and everyone starts making fun of him who are watching, because they all know that he can't use magic, and the idea of him fighting a bunch of golems is just suicide. Clanette then uses her earth magic to form a rock fist around Will's arm, and with this, new earth glove, he then starts to smash through the golems bit by bit. Everyone who was just mocking Will immediately just stared, dumbstruck and confused on what the fuck just happened. I like Professor Walkins' response, which is, I knew he was going to do that. Yeah, so we know that Professor Walkins knows that Will is, super strong and capable. He just goes out of his way to downplay it towards Will because he doesn't want Will to get a big ego. But yeah, he 100% knew Will was going to be fine. What he was concerned about was Will basically revealing to the world that dude's a monster. And so, Will's team are actually the first to get past the golems. And that is the beginning of the crown game. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, subscribe, give it a thumbs up so you can enjoy more Wistoria and other things. Thank you, and have a great day.